And when you've got that down, you can add your left hand in a mirror image. So that turns out to be like this. And every now and then when you're doing these kind of things, catch yourself to see if you're getting stiff in your elbow. I find when people are doing things that are challenging, there'll be a lot of tension, and it'll be really like, whoa. But if you think about maybe moving your elbow around just a little bit to remind yourself that you want to stay loose, you should be able to knock your elbow away at any point. So the other thing that I'd like to mention about technique is that it's really important to be able to hold down certain fingers while playing with others. Many years ago, I studied from a book called the Phillips Technique, and his idea was that you would play a diminished chord like this, kind of feeling like you're pulling in on it. My teacher used to say, imagine there's a little ball under your palm pushing up a little bit, and try to keep your wrist level with the keyboard. And then while you have all that together, just like that, maybe try to lift up this finger while holding down the others. And play it. Now for a real challenge, try doing this one. Remember not to get too tight. So you go through each finger, and then when you've got that down, try doing combinations of fingers like this. And of course, the triplet is one of the most helpful rhythms in technique because it lets you accent both fingers in this, like this, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1. You can also try this exercise just by holding down like C, E, F, and G. You can go. One interesting thing, you might not see immediately how this is important, but if you put it into a musical context, like even if I'm playing just regular chords, right now I'm not using any pedal, but it still sounds like the chord is sustaining. That's because I'm only lifting up the fingers that actually need to be lifted up. And to do this, it requires a bit of independence in your fingers. I'd like to take a little time to show you some of the things that I do with the Kurzweil synthesizer. For one, when I play out live, these days I only use a Kurzweil 2500X exclusively. No other racks or modules or anything. Everything is basically in this synthesizer. And of course, this unit is a synthesizer and a sampler, and that's part of what makes it really powerful. It's the merging of those two technologies that really makes it possible for me to do what I do and express myself. Let me show you some examples of some of the kinds of things that I do. It's possible to basically put a different sound on every key, but more than that, I can decide on specific layers per key. So you really have complete control over, okay, I want 3 sounds on the C sharp, and I want 1 sound on the G, and in this area I want another sound. Like for instance, in this sound, I specifically put the percussion underneath the various instruments that come in. I can hear the little tambourine roll, so if I go... So like on this sound, I chose a specific note that I knew I was going to play as part of the chord to bring in this motor sound. There's also like an orchestral hit that happens. And as I play, you have like a pizzicato and a xylophone type sound. So... So that's one of the tricks that I do to actually make happen live all that I play. The other thing that people ask me quite a lot is, how do you change sounds? Well, for me, a sound is called a setup, and the setup consists of a lot of different zones of different sounds. Let's take a look at this sound, where I have... So I've got all my different sounds. Let's call that one sound. And then, if I step on my little pedal, which is on the floor here, I only use two pedals. One of them will cycle me through the different patches that I go to. So as I'm playing along, I can be... then hit the pedal and have this new sound that actually has a sound where if I play lightly, I'll get this electric piano. If I hit the key a little bit harder, so as I go, and the little bell effect that you hear is actually assigned just to this key. So that's a little bit about like putting sounds, placing the sounds on the keyboard. Let's talk a little bit about the controllers now. What happens is, a lot of times what I'll do if I want to just like play a lead, I'll run a looped sample. It's my choice to do that sometimes instead of a sequence. I just rely on samples more than I do necessarily a sequence. So in this particular patch, if I play down here, and we can all hear that now my loop is running, and it will keep running until I let go of my sustain pedal. And while that's running, I can use my ribbon, I can use my wheels, I can use my slider without affecting that patch at all. It's just a matter of my programming the sound to do exactly what I want it to do. So, and after I pressed that note and I stepped in the sustain pedal, it switched me automatically to a lead sound. So now I can play... So everything that I'm doing does not affect the loop at all. Another very cool thing that you can do with some of the controllers, for instance, you can do this. You can trigger notes on the ribbon. So the ribbon is not only a pitch bender, kind of like if you're thinking along the lines of a guitar, like a whammy bar. I can... Or I can also have the ribbon kind of do multiple functions. Like the ribbon can bring in an arpeggiation and make the sound pan and change the filter all at the same time. So all these things all together kind of enable me to do what I do in performance. On a sound like this one, I put my special effect in the low register of the keyboard. When I hit that note, creates that effect, but everywhere else is more pitch-oriented.